How do you know when it's time to let go of the one who's loved you the most? In this episode of Giggles and Shit, we're talking about the loss of a beloved pet and why this kind of grief hits way harder than you expect. From doggy dementia and midnight howling to diapers, tough decisions, and that gut wrenching moment when you have to choose love over holding on. We talk about Rory's final months, his new lease on life in the backyard, and the beautiful, heartbreaking reality of being there at the very end, plus the difference between a traumatic goodbye and a peaceful one at home surrounded by family. It's raw, it's real, and yeah, we almost cry. Welcome to episode 4, When Love Means Letting Them Go. Hi, I'm Jill Button.
And I'm Dianne Cross.
Welcome
Welcome
to
to
the
the Giggles
Giggles
and
and
Shit
Shit
Show.
Show, the podcast where two Gen X friends talk about midlife chaos, careers, relationships, aging parents, adult kids, and everything else life throws at us.
The show is honest, unfiltered, and occasionally a little inappropriate because sometimes the only way to survive the insanity is to laugh at it. So grab a coffee or pour a glass of wine or something stronger and join us for some giggles as we talk some shit.
Welcome to the Giggles and Shit Show.
On today's segment, we're going to talk about a difficult subject, the loss of a beloved pet. Let's talk about Rory.
Yes. So, one of the reasons why we haven't recorded an episode for a while is because in November of 2025, I had to let go of my beautiful boy who was 15 years old, Rory. And it was a difficult time for sure. We had just moved into our house and he had been sick previously, 2 years ago, or a little bit longer, I guess. He had some sort of an infection, which almost took him. And I fought like hell to keep him alive, taking him back and forth to the vet. And for 2 years, miraculously, he survived and he lived, you know, much longer than the vet ever thought he was going to. And when we were planning on moving, my goal was to get him to the new house because it has a big, beautiful backyard. And I wanted him to have the feeling of being able to roam. He, towards the end, was blind as a bat and couldn't hear a thing, but he could smell. He still had a really good sniffer. So he would go into the backyard and he would lay in the grass and he would put his nose up in the air and you could see that he was smelling the smells and being a dog. And he actually went from, where we thought, even the time when we were in the middle of moving, we didn't think he was going to make it because he had become quite weak. And when he moved here, I feel like he got a new lease on life because he almost started to regain um, much more of his mobility, his activity, and I think it was a blessing to be able to get him to this house and to give him. I think he had a beautiful fall because we moved in at the end of August. So he had September, October, and then in November, it was really difficult to know because you want to hold on to them as long as you possibly can. And I feel like everyone, like the kids knew that it was time. There were, difficult times where I feel like he might have gotten doggy dementia at the end because I think we joked about it in a previous episode, but I actually think it's true. He did have it because he started to howl in the middle of the night because he was scared and he his mobility and his ability to control himself, he couldn't control himself anymore, so I had to. The joyous thing was putting on doggy diapers. That was a difficult thing, so I think in the end it was the right thing to do. I think his quality of life was um, probably, it had declined to a point where it was obvious for everyone that it was time. But I've never had a dog that's lived to 15 years of age before.
15. Yeah.
Never had to make that decision before, and it was tough. It was really hard.
Yeah. No doubt. My heart breaks just thinking about it. But
I know.
yeah.
I
He
know.
was a
You knew.
lucky dog. He was a lucky dog to have
Yeah.
had the cottage years and the daily walks and,
Yeah. Yeah.
to
And
keep him
his
out of school.
girlfriend Luna, who had predeceased him by 2 years, so that was the two of them were like an old married couple for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. She bossed him around and he
And
ignored
he
her.
took it.
So
Yeah. As a good boyfriend's supposed to.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've had animals before and like we lost our first pet together, Peter and I. We actually had a dog called Shelby. It was a Sheltie and it was our first house, our first dog before kids. And she was such a beautiful dog. She was super smart. I don't know if you remember Shelby or
Yeah,
not.
I remember
Black and
Shelby.
white. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super smart. She loved to chase the frisbee. And we lost her to, I think it was liver failure. And she was only 2. And that was a really
Oh,
difficult time. Yeah. We were moving into our second house at the time, and we were living with my sister while Shelby was ill and we ended up losing him on Boxing Day, which was in the middle of the Mel Lastman called out the
oh, the
National
National
Guard
Guard. Oh,
storm. Yeah, that
wow.
was difficult. But every pet since then, like Ozzy was our first Australian, and that was a time where just had never had an Australian before. The kids had come along. So that was really our first pet with the kids.
Right.
And he passed away. I think he was 10, and he also had a form of cancer. So, and then Luna passing, same thing. She had liver failure, and Rory was the first that we'd ever had to make the decision to actually, through old age,
Yeah.
having to decide to let him go. It was just the strangest, weirdest experience, and I never expected to go through anything like that.
Can't imagine. And I know I'm going to have to at some point myself, but yeah, it's heartbreaking to even think about.
Yeah. I think I'm more pragmatic when it comes to um I think animals are put on this earth to give us pure, unreserved joy and loyalty. They
Yeah.
just they love fully. They are present every day. When you come home, it's like they haven't seen you in 100 years. Their
When you
whole
went to get the
body.
mail, yeah.
Yes. Their whole body vibrates with joy, and you are the
Yeah.
center of their universe.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to be, and my
Mm.
my philosophy is you have to be appreciative of the time that you do have with them
Yeah.
and really when you lose them and like when I lost Rory, um I just it was like I've lost pets before, but I've never felt this kind of loss and grief before. I know that just like I don't know. I'm such a pragmatic person that know intellectually that, dogs don't last. They don't live for long. They're here
Yeah.
for a good time, not a long time. But this one it hit me really hard. And I outwardly probably didn't show it, but it took a long time for me. I'm still not over it, I guess. But
Yeah.
it took a long time for me. And then with Christmas, it was a great distraction. And then living in Aurelia when it snows every single effing day.
Yeah, lots of shoveling. I
Lots
actually,
of
when I
showing.
when I first saw your post, I think we were away. I think we were in Turkey, and I said to Derek, "Oh my God, no, like Rory's gone." And he, you know, was visibly upset as well. And both of us, of course, you think of the people, right? Like,
Mhm.
obviously, it was an impossible decision to make and heartbreaking, but of course, the right thing to do because you love them so much, and it's if it's time, right? It's the most
Yeah.
humane thing that you can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just my heart bled for both of you. And I know
It
how much
was
Pete was attached to him too. Like they were,
yeah.
oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. It was very difficult for Peter, for sure. I think the thing that made it bearable for us was that we got connected to a company called Heart with Wings out of Barrie, and they actually come to your house
Oh, thank
and
goodness. Yeah.
they allow you and your pet to be in a safe, familiar, comfortable environment. And Rory was surrounded by his entire family. The kids were here. They took the time off work to be here. The lady who came in was very compassionate, and the whole process was made a difficult process was made really respectful and easier. I
Mhm.
remember that when Luna got sick a couple of years ago, and it was also at the same time that Rory was sick. So we were spending so
Mhm.
much time focusing on Rory that we didn't really notice the signs for Luna. Like she was always sort of a going concern, right? She wasn't that, she was like little sassy pants. So we really never noticed any of the signs until it was too late. But the way that she passed was such a traumatic thing for us. She got sick, she was diagnosed, we brought her home for a day, and then we immediately had to take her back to the emergency vet, not knowing about the in-house services. It was an emergency vet, the one
Oh,
in Scarborough,
yeah.
and they took her into a room, and we sat in the waiting room while she was in this room, I believe by herself, for a better part of an hour. And they said they had given her medication, but she was there without her people, right? So
Right.
I can't for me it was traumatic for me, and it's not the way that I would have liked her to pass on. I would have rather she had the same experience as
Yeah.
Rory. I know I'm attributing a lot of emotion to an animal, but at the same time,
Oh, they are.
yeah, they imprint so much on you,
Yeah.
and I believe they feel, and it was just a bad experience with Luna, and I'm so glad we had a much better, calm, peaceful experience with Roy. So I highly recommend if anybody is in the Barrie area or even in any area to look into this service because
Yeah.
while it's a little bit more expensive because they're coming to your house, I do think that it's easier for the owners and for the pet
And
as
for the
well.
pet, for sure. I think my sister-in-law, Terry, did the same for Bailey, who
Yeah.
was also 15
Yeah.
and, had lost his mobility, and it was time. But they had somebody come to the house and, we're there with him. I think that it's the least you can do. I don't
Yeah.
understand how anybody can, drop an animal off and not stay with them for that. That's just
No, and I
heart-wrenching.
would never
Yeah.
do that. And I agree. I don't know how
Mm.
anybody can do that. I think
Yeah.
people who do that are probably sparing themselves the
Yes.
emotions
Yeah.
and not really can oh shit. My throat. The emotion. I said I wasn't gonna cry.
Yeah.
So
Nope.
yeah, I think there's I don't want to call them cowards because I know that everybody grieves differently, but at the same
Yeah,
time,
definitely.
you've got to be strong for like they've been there for you for however many years.
Their
You've got to
whole
be there.
life.
Yeah, you got to be there
Yeah.
for them when it is time. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was difficult. I'm a cat person. Not sure how I feel about that. So we still have Jack, which is
Yeah.
Sam's cat. And Shannon and Wyatt came with a cat
Right.
named Rex, who apparently I am now grandmother to. So he is my for a grandchild because I
Well,
don't
you've
have
been waiting for this
grandchildren.
for a long time, Jill. You've been
Yeah, I
wanting to
know.
be a grandma for a long time. It's just that these ones have
Yes.
4 legs, right?
Yes. But it's interesting because Shannon keeps saying, we're cat people, Mom. We're cat people." And I'm like, "No, I'm not a cat person. I love cats, but I've never really, I mean, I shouldn't say I'm not a cat person. I'm an animal person. I love
Yeah,
all animals. I love dogs, have owned dogs my entire life, and probably could say I've owned cats my entire life. But I do miss having a dog, but it's not time. Like, I'm not ready for
oh
another dog.
gosh. Yeah.
I mean, not to mention we still have like 4 feet of snow out there. So that's, it's not a time to have a puppy. Not good
Right.
for the training, but I think we'll eventually get one. I just don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know when, and I don't know what breed, or if it will be a rescue, or if we'll maybe get another Australian. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, you'll know when you know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's news to share with the listeners. Most of them know about the loss and have also gone through the grieving process themselves. So anyway, that's on my shit list. The loss of a pet.
That's some shit.
That's some shit.
Yeah,
That's heavy shit.
it is.
Mm. Okay, that's it.
Okay. I didn't cry.
Good for you. Awesome. Well, that's it for today's episode. As always, we had a few giggles and we talked about a lot of shit.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Giggles and Shit Show. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who could use a giggle.
You can follow the show and join the conversation on Substack at gigglesandshit.substack.com. That's giggles and shit with an n.substack.com. Subscribe to get new episodes, stories, and behind the scenes updates from the show straight to your inbox. Until next time, keep on giggling through the chaos and talking shit. Done.
Done.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Oh gosh.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Giggles and Shit Show. If you loved today's episode, don't forget to subscribe on Substack at gigglesandshit.substack.com so you'll never miss an episode. You'll get all our content, podcasts, videos, and newsletter delivered right to your inbox. Join our chat to post your very own shit or hit list. We want to hear about the shit that's driving you crazy or making your week a hit. Come laugh, cry, and keep it real with us and our Gen X community.